because they probably waiting on me. But days I get off work early. Some days we'll work 10, some days we work 9. I always try to go get, at least check in with the wife before she usually take due to the practice, and then I'll go up to Loyola, leave Loyola, come up there, watch them practice a little bit, and then we all leave together. Yep.
Okay. All right, we live.
Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Back, episode 2, Winner's Circle podcast. I got my boy Jay Embry in the building. Hey, this one's special to me, man. This one of my brothers from way back, man. I've been so far from the city for so long, so it's always good when I can, get a post on home, because I tell you what, everything I am today is the city.
100%. You know what they say? You can take about the city, but you can't take the city out of here.
Never, dog. Never. I'm Detroit every day, all day. I'm Detroit. Yep. Hey, just like I said last week, I've come to the belief that we don't celebrate each other enough, especially as men. So this is my tribute. I'm trying to come here at least once a week, or maybe 2 times a week. Shout out to somebody I know. Eventually to get to people that I don't know, that, hey, I just want to salute and tell you, like I said, it's my brother Jay. I've known this dude almost 20 years now. So, hey, Jay, welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate you, bro. Anytime we can link up, talk, chat, whatever, whether it's Facebook, text, phone call, whatever. It's always, good to do that amongst brothers, like you say, man. It was a total shock too, man. Like, you should have seen the face when I lit up. Like, oh, what? And then the nerves set in. Like, hold on, man. What are you about to ask me, dog?
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing I respect, man, you grinding, dog. Not only do you got a real job, you got a family that you take care of, and we'll get into that with your son and everything, and that hardship. But then you still making time for the community, man. You still making time to bring up these young boys on your back, giving them everything and everything that has helped you over life to try to make these boys into men. So first off, salute to that, man.
Appreciate it.
So let's talk about growing up in Detroit. How was that for you?
Whew. Where do I start, man? The typical single parent household. Sorry about that. Typical single parent household. But for me, the village was a little bit different. I did have my grandmother in the household, her other 2 daughters with my mom. So it was a household full of women. Me and my older brother, man, we just out here young. I always commend these women for doing what people say they couldn't do. Women can't raise a man. You know what I'm saying? Although it's certain aspects a woman can't do, man, but the women in the village that I grew up with, they did. I think they superseded expectations. Although I probably didn't have like the pair of Jordans or every bit of clothing I had or all the, the materialistic stuff, I did grow up with a bunch of values. I was cooking at an early age, cleaning at an early age, learning how to respect women at an early age, stuff like that. So my upbringing wasn't bad. I did grow up West 7 Mile. The opportunity was there. The environment, that Detroit environment was there. Every single direction I could have went was there. So I always give kudos and props to my mom and, her mom and her sisters is stepping up for me and my older brother. But I wouldn't consider myself a bad kid. Curious, younger, of course. I guess I was told I was wise beyond my years or something. Like I had a way of staying out of trouble. Thankfully, of course. I don't know, man. Different.
Yeah. So with that being said, right? So pretty much your mom and other women, they set the foundation Who's that first real male role model you end up having?
It was a couple. Early on, of course, we was raised in a church, Dexter Avenue Baptist Church on the corner, Dexter and Davidson. So I had that solid foundation. You know, it was God, it was Jesus, and all this kind of stuff. The most important thing, man, one of the most influential figures of my life, he didn't make it about a certain type of religion. Although he was a Baptist guy, you know what I'm saying? He was a deacon in the church, and he believed in his word and everything, but he never tried to like force something on me. He always promoted like free thinking and free mind and all that kind of stuff. But his name's Deacon Peoples. He was like that first big father figure I had that straightened me up and kept me on that straight and narrow, kept me out of trouble, showed me some positive things, talked to me, helped me with school and stuff like that. My pops was around. My mom was single, like I say, grew up in a household with my mom, but my pops was around. We had a good relationship early on, stuff like that. But Deacon People, so I give them some of that early kudos though.
No, that's legit. I think whether we single family raised by our moms, grandmothers, no matter what, man, I think it's somewhere along the way there's a man that that holds us up on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He
was actually the first guy that really explained to me what marriage was. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A lot of times, like I say, my pops was around, but a lot of times, those times when it's time to have a conversation about how to treat a lady from a man's perspective, a lot of times it was from Deacon Peoples, or I didn't have a lot of uncles. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times me and my pops actually missed those conversations, or I gained the information from somewhere else, and then me and my pops would talk about it later on or something. But like you say, man, Deacon Peoples probably implemented enough into me to where I wanted to be that same light, or even a greater light, and in the next young man's life. So
yeah. So speaking of that, you mentioned marriage, was just the next thing I was actually gonna hit up. Coming in an environment where we come from, it ain't necessarily a popular thing. So, speak on what made you kind of take your own path and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I believe in.
So motivation, bro. Hold on, I think my speaker. You hear me?
Yep, you good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think for me, I think the go-to catalyst was seeing how hard my mom worked, seeing everything my mom went through, and not taking my experience for granted. Because I'm not the only young man that was raised by women. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think my journey was unique, man, because I was able to grasp on to some of the things that I think I needed that was necessary for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't speak for everybody.
Right.
But I'm thankful that I was raised in a household full of women, because it gives me some kind of conscious mind outside of this male ego that we all have. It gives me some kind of conscious mind, like, bro, you was tripping, or you ain't have to say it like that, or think about her sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not saying that I wouldn't have had it without my experience, but I'm just saying I'm grateful for my experience and being able to grasp on to something that was strong enough to make me want to get married, have kids. And in particular, my relationship with my father, bro, like, it was not what I would consider a great relationship. I wouldn't consider it nurturing. And I think everything is moving in intentional realms, right? Me and my father, we just recently started talking again within like the last few weeks. And it's probably been a couple years, man. I've been fighting it, not wanting to talk to him because I felt like it was his job to reach out to me. My wife was always on my head, like, hey, reach out, see how you doing, see what's going on. And I think this last meetup, man, it was actually good. It was something that we both needed. I think we covered years and years of just not talking and assuming what each other felt. And we finally reached ahead. So moving forward, I think we'll be all right, at least for his grandkids' sake. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. No, man, I think that's really special, because a lot of people, if you notice, it's almost like a fork in the road. We can use our adversities and the things that we didn't have, or the negative things that happened to us, to cause us to be negative and make those same decisions. Say, hey, my father wasn't in my household, blah blah. I'm gonna be this type of way. Or we can say, hey, this is the example that I had. I know that wasn't the right way to be. I'm gonna stray from that and be opposite. And it takes a peculiar person to go that opposite path. So again, big up. So now moving on, married, your second child, your son. If you want to speak on a little bit about the condition he has and that whole adversity that you've been going through with that.
I just got chills thinking about it. So Jackson was born prematurely, just made it to 25 weeks. Everything was going fine with the pregnancy. My wife was on a high risk alert. She had pre-existing liver issues that were under control. Somewhere along this 24, 25 weeks, she started feeling ill. So we took her in after she threw up a little bit of blood. We don't know what we thinking, actually. You know what I'm saying? Never did it dawn that Jackson will be coming early. Long story short, man, she ended up contracting listeria, which is food poisoning. She was already on high risk, so they should have been running blood, all this other stuff. And it got into her bloodstream, bro, and it was bad. So mind you, she already had her liver issues. She ended up having to get a freaking liver transplant.
Wow.
A couple weeks after Jackson came. So long story short, everything was fine with Jackson up until this point. Due to being born at 25 weeks, his lungs wasn't strong enough. They were like paper thin. Every breath he took was vital. Could have ripped his lungs. So they had him on a vent for weeks and weeks, different vents, going back and forth, switching ventilation settings. And this time we learning PEEP settings and all kind of respiratory terms, just, you know what I'm saying, just being present. But eventually he was at Henry Ford. We ended up going to U of M because they wanted to put a trach in. He got his trach at U of M. He stayed there for a while. We got all our vent training and trach training at U of M, and it was great. U of M really, I feel like they really did their job. They're number one for a reason. But this experience alone, man, we got the 8-year-old, my son, Junior.
Yep. Yeah.
And first pregnancy, it was a breeze. The birth was a breeze. Worst case scenario for him was jaundice. You know what I'm saying? No worries. We were actually spoiled. He's a great kid, growing up, no problem, smart in the mug, just like a fairy tale. And now we go from that feeling, that surreal feeling, to a 25-year-old preemie who's on the verge of losing his life. At this time, we had to make that decision whether to get the trach or just keep pressing our luck with the vents and stuff. So, of course, to save his life and make it a little easier for him, he got the trach. We were scared, terrified, worried, didn't know what to expect. And our normal was like completely flipped. You know what I'm saying? And I think we all got this ability of adaptation. But even in that moment, it was so surreal, bro. Like my faith was weathering, questioning God, praying frivolously. And then it was like a calming feeling, just seeing Jackson every single day, just getting stronger, growing stronger, defying all the doctor's orders, and just thriving, not even surviving, bro. Jackson's been thriving since he had the trach. So he was in the hospital for months and months and months. I was going to work about an hour away, getting off work, picking up Lil J, spending time with him because I didn't want him to see his mom and his brother in the hospital like that.
Yeah.
So I was spending time with him, taking him to his grandparents' house, going to the hospital, spending time with the baby on 3, going to spend time with the wife on 6, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm talking about months. Wasn't eating right, wasn't sleeping right. And I thank God, nothing happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So what's up, dude?
So,
what up, Jay?
So Uncle Mark. A lot of the masking was I wanted to protect them, man. You know.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that we got with our kids is innocence, is their innocence, and I think we got to do the most diligent job of protecting that. At that time, I felt like lying to my son about his mom and his brother was the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of all of their conditions, I'm lying to my son. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine what he was going through at the time. He was still going to school. He was still doing homework.
Mm-hmm.
He's not seeing a woman that he's seen every single day just being superwoman. And he just got to hear, oh, she in the hospital. Oh, you can't go see her. Or they might let you see her this day. Oh, no, well, he won't be here at all. Shout out to all the nurses, all the respiratory techs. I really feel like during this time, I gained so much knowledge in this field.
Mm-hmm.
I gained so much perspective more than anything. We all seen people with trachs before, but I never suctioned anybody. I never had to check for vital signs. I never had to, he got a tube. He got a G tube in his stomach for all the tube feedings. Like, this is a bunch of stuff that I never, ever would have cared about, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And now perspective is everything to me, but now my perspective has changed on healthcare. Now we want to give back. Now we want to go talk to other families that may be dealing with this. Our experiences are everything, man. I'm thankful for our experience. I'm thankful for, even the awakening I had in our darkest moments. There was a time where I just blacked out and I didn't have any more of the negative thoughts. I wasn't worrying anymore. It was just all faith and power and manifestations and speaking power instead of worrying. And basically practicing what I preach, man, because I tell these kids every day, they call me with problems and I always seem to find a solution. But in my darkest time, in my family's darkest time, in my wife's darkest time, like, lying to my son, like, this was something that it was all foreign, bro. Like, before all of this time, I'm not gonna say it was like I was living in a fantasy world, but perspective definitely changed the way I think, man. The way we prepare our days, how thankful we are for life. Like I say, I wasn't an asshole. Like, I wasn't. I'm not killing people. I'm not out here robbing somebody. Right. And at some point, you get comfortable because you're not doing all that stuff. You don't look like them. You know what I'm saying? But in that same realm, comfort sets in. And I don't know. I don't want to make it a selfish moment about me, but it was a huge awakening that time. And I feel like I think, I'm not gonna say my family needed it all, but it definitely helped us. It made us appreciate each other more. It made us appreciate the time. But we not out the dark yet. He got his trach removed like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
He ain't been quiet since.
Yeah. Nah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah. I think something that's truly amazing and also interesting at the same time is something that you mentioned. It's almost like when we get to a point where we're so busy, we don't have time for negativity. And I'm almost, me personally, I almost feel like I'm in my most comfortable place in that. So where I'm waking up at 04 and I'm not going to bed till 11 o'clock at night. And it's a constant grind, for 22 hours, 21 hours out of the day. I don't have time for negative thoughts. I don't have time to be thinking, what if this goes wrong? We just wake up and grind and it's on to the next thing. Oh, tight, go get the kids. Tight, got to get over to work, get off work, go coach. Like, it ain't no time. And I think that's, some of us, dog, that's where we most comfortable at.
Facts. That grind, for real. That grind. that idle mind, man. You know, that idle time will tear you up, man. We sitting around too long. That idle mind get to rolling and rambling. The one thing that I'm trying to do now, man, me and the wife was just having a conversation. I ain't gonna lie to you. Me and the wife had an argument, and it was about time. Like I told you, bro, we get comfortable in a certain realm, or we just lock out in that grind. I made this post, man, and it was immediately like one of those foot and mouth posts. It was like, don't give everybody else your all and then give your family the rest of you or whatever. Something along them lines. Like, we go grind from 04 to 11p and then come back and fall asleep on the fam. Like, and I shared that post knowing that I did it, bro. But a lot of times I share these posts, it be so I can go back and look at it again as reminders to myself, like, hey, stay in check. So we had this discussion today, man, and it got heated fast, but I immediately failed my emotional six second test. She said something and it just struck a nerve. Here I am thinking I'm giving back to the community the best way I know how. And we doing a pretty decent job, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? The most important people are the ones that's going to appreciate me the most, right? The family, my kids, my wife. So my time management has been a little bit off. I've been talking to a couple other my guys about managing your time with your wife and your family. And then here I am, the same argument hit me, not even 3-4 days later. So it's a constant grind, bro. We'll get so committed to that work grind or the workout or the coaching that we'll let this side at home slide. And that's the side I'm picking back up as we speak. It ain't, because this junk ain't like, I didn't come on here to make this junk sound easy, bro. This junk is a constant grind in the house. It's a constant grind outside the house to provide as well. And it got to be an even keel balance.
So my question for you is this: with everything that you got going on, it's so easy to be content and say you doing what you should be doing as a man. You working, you providing, and then you coming home and you taking care of your family, you taking care of your wife and your kids, especially with that particular health adversity.
Yes, sir.
What has you going the extra mile to still serve the community?
Simple. I think just wanted to give resources that I needed. You know what I'm saying? We needed. You know what I'm saying? 2003 to 2002, 2003, we met, man. I think what Coach Claude, Coach Troy, Coach Cal, and them provided for us, I think it was amazing, bro. Like, they opened our eyes to some things that we necessarily may not have seen with any other coaching staff. But even then, I don't think we was provided the adequate resources that we needed.
Facts.
Without football.
Facts.
And that's the stuff that I'm bringing to the game, man. You can call Kev, get Kev on this thing next time. He'll tell you in a minute. Like, I didn't hire you for football. He hired me for the energy. He hired me for my relationship I build with the kids, the stuff I do in the background. And the only motivation behind it, bro, is providing the service that I needed when I was that age.
Yeah. Hey, so let's talk about the great things y'all doing at Loyola High School. Graduation rate, college acceptance rate, out of control. Hit that up, man.
Man, so all right, so 2000, I got to give you a little background. 2017, we was at Detroit Central. We played Detroit Loyola when Coach Tandy was there.
Legend. Legend in the game.
Yes, he had Ross coaching with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was prepped, man. We was ready for it. We ended up beating those guys, and that was really like my second little time, I guess, spinning around Loyola. Remember, Mario went to Loyola for a little bit. My little cousin Kenny went there, so I knew of Loyola, but didn't really know much of them. Never did I think we would be coaching at Loyola. So long story short, Kev get the job, and we really get to tie in and really get to understand the tight walls of Loyola, bro. Once you get in, they say once you get in, you can't get out, and it's like that, and it makes so much sense to why something like 100% graduation and 100% college acceptance is key there. The resources they provide, like, they got the Loyola Work Experience program, where the kids, where even if they didn't want to go to college per se, they get this work experience where they can go ahead and start building up trade experience. So by the time they leave high school, they can get right into a trade.
You were
Stuff
one
like
of
that.
the facilitators of that, right?
I just be around. I'm
Okay.
not I just support the guys, man. Like I love it, honestly. My little cousin graduated this year. He was honor roll. I watched him come in as a struggling 8th grader, bro, and I watched his grades improve and improve and improve until he finally made honor roll and all this kind of stuff. So I seen it a little bit from his standpoint, but again,
Yeah.
not until we got in and really got to sit down with these people, we really got to understand. So anybody can push that 100% graduation rate. Any school in America can. You can graduate how many people you want to.
Yeah.
Um, but you can't get these kids accepted. And that's what I want people to realize. The 100% college acceptance, like all of our seniors went to school. And I think that's something that's needed in our community. I share it every time I see the post because that's the stuff we need to see. Like I didn't see that when it was time for me to go to high school. You get these 8th grade guys and you go put them with the hottest football team, and that might not be the way. We need to. One thing that I always put in perspective with my guys, especially my seniors, all right, after this year, you will go to college, play some ball, 4 years, and if you're blessed enough, you may have the opportunity to go play on in an NFL or another league. But that's only a short fuse. It's 3 years after that. So what are you going to be doing in the next 10 years? Because it's not going to be football. And that's what that's the perspective I try to get these guys to realize. Like, let's start thinking about stuff outside of the game. And Loyola, man, I don't even think they care about football, honestly.
Yeah.
It's about the college prep stuff, man, and that's the driving force. And in our community, I think it's needed, bro. We got so many kids that's being lied to and tricked into these false fallacies. I think we got to tie in. And like I say, it might not be a university, but it's a lot of trades that these kids can get into. Like yourself, join the armed services, man. I told people, and I don't know, your ears probably be buzzing too, because I always tell people about you, man. I don't know if you remember, but when U.S. signed up with the Marines, we went down to that place in Dearborn to the recruiting station, and I was ready to sign up. I was ready to take that test so I can come do some not infantry. What was the planes?
Oh yeah, aviation. Yeah.
Aviation. If you pass this test, Jay, you can be in aviation as soon as you come in. My mom wouldn't sign off, bro. Remember?
Yeah.
I was 17 at the time. She would not sign off.
That's
But
our community, though, man. That's where we come from.
100%. And I always tell people like how successful you are, and the path that you took, bro. And you are one of the pioneers coming from our city. And the fact that you branched off and you on your own start and your family, bro. Like it's not just like you just out here willy nilly. You ain't got nothing out here. Like you got a whole family yourself, man. Big ups to yourself too, bro. Like that's some stuff that our guys need to see and hear as well. Your journey too. Make sure you give yourself your flowers.
Man, it's just I'm just to the point where I'm really appreciative of what y'all doing, man, in the city, because being from there, I know some of the people that's watching, you know, they may be from different areas where it ain't like that. But I'm telling you, when you live in the city and you see it every day, I'm telling you, I've been all over the world. I've been to some bad places all over the world, and you don't get much worse than Detroit, though. So when y'all can put 10, 20, 30 young men in college, dog, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think it sets a tone, man. Our principal, Wyatt Jones, he liked to call it the Morehouse of Michigan.
Yeah.
The Morehouse of the North. And I think that's a good skeleton to build, man. Nice foundation to have. And we getting these guys everywhere. Colleges we never even heard of. Giving these guys opportunities. They might not have never left the city had they not had that opportunity. So we got the number 3 debate team in the world or something like that. Don't quote me on their ranking, but these kids were debating with kids from China. One of the kids on the debate team, he was also the valedictorian for the school. He got a $25,000 scholarship from the Pistons. And that didn't have nothing to do with sports, bro.
Yeah.
Like the school, it just gives these guys another perspective, man. That's what I like about it.
That's amazing, man. So one thing I want you to hit up, because a lot of people don't know, they just think football is start at 3:30 and end at 5 every day, and then you coach a game on Friday. So, hey, talk to these people about what type of hours you putting in as a high school defensive coordinator, bro.
All right. Virtually it's 7 days a week. We got film study. We got practice plans that change each week. It's a 7-on-7 in camp season, so a lot of times we're seeing a lot of different opponents, different teams and schools. So you got to do your due diligence of work, let alone keep your guys in shape, keep their technique good, and make sure they're learning and thriving as well, on and off the field. A lot of these relationships, they go beyond football the moment you accept the job.
Yep.
A lot of these guys come from the same households I came from. So a lot of times I'm their advocate. So they hit me up outside of football, not just 8:30, between 4:30 and 8:30 or whatever. Weekends, Sundays, when I'm out with the family, parents will call, hey, my son needs help with this, or he tripping, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's that's the community service part. That's the part that I preach about, building our community, make sure our community is strong. Because this is stuff that's gonna hold over long after those championship rings tarnish. We gonna win a bunch of games. Like, don't get me wrong, we gonna win some games. I don't even know where my championships from our Lions team is at right now. I'm gonna do better with my son's trophies, I promise. But it don't last that long, bro. That sensation of the game, it's over. Just like that, at the drop of a dime, it's over. And I think make sure you build the intentional foundation with these guys. There's kids we coached in 2008 that still hit me up today. I'm a godfather of some of these guys' kids and stuff like that. Like, this is a fraternity in itself, if you will. The hours. I got to put in some hours tonight.
Yeah. No, I know me personally, I love the game of football as a vehicle to teach life, is because it's losses every day.
Yes, sir.
You're losing every day. And that's what
sir.
life is. Small losses every day. And you getting back up and going back at it every single day.
Yes,
so
sir.
You're going to go on that football field and somebody bigger than you, going to put you on your butt. And you got to make a conscious decision to get back up and go back at him. You know what I'm saying? And it's just such an easy translation to the real world, because it's just like I told my son, you're going to lose a lot, brother. You're going to lose a lot. So,
we are all boys school, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things that I hear from the parents. Oh, my son don't like it. It's an all boys school. So Kev, he had to put it in perspective for them guys, for the parents. He say, well, if your kid want to play Division I football, he better get used to being around all boys. He go wake up in the morning, he got team breakfast, all boys. He go to class, he might see a couple girls. Then he go have team meetings, all boys. Practice, all boys. His dorm room, all boys. He might have to get used to changing that mindset of, oh, they ain't got no girls. And it started small fires like that. And then it's the big ones where the parents aren't as active as they should be or could be, or not as nurturing. So we see it all. We see it all. And like I say, man, I give big ups to our head coach. He go above and beyond to fit a profile for these guys. He don't sell them dreams. And he understands the intentional need as well.
Hell yeah. Hey, so before we get out of here, brother, what you looking at as moves in the next 5 years? What's going on?
I've been sitting on a nonprofit organization for years. I guess I'm waiting on that calling, that true calling, making sure it's the right move for the family and the right time. I think we need something like a Boys and Girls Club again. There's a couple of them still out here, but of course not in the areas needed. So I want to do something down those rounds, but it's more than a boys and girls club, but more like a resource center. I want to have something where these kids can come and chill and talk to somebody if they need to. Have doctors or psychs on call. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Therapy. I think mental health is something that we need. We run away from it. We run away from it in our community. Period.
Yep.
I didn't know I needed to talk to somebody until my wife and my son went through all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I went through trying to. What was it? There's a place through the job, man. They suggested it. They said, "Oh, you should just go see him." And I went to go see him just to do it, just so they can stop calling and telling me. And I enjoyed the first session, bro. I got out of there. I went and talked to my wife, man, in the hospital. Like I went to counseling. I went and talked to somebody. It felt good to get this off my chest. And I went back, kept going back. Didn't know I needed it until I needed it. So of course that sparked the interest in my mind. Like maybe it's something I can do to spread that message. And me sharing with some friends, like, hey dog, I just went and talked to this counselor, bro. He dope. And that sparked the interest. Like, yeah, you know what, maybe I should. You know what I'm saying? I've always been in a position where not that I was a boss or I was bossing people around, but I've always been in a leadership position, or at least that's what it seemed. So I just figured if I start opening my mouth more with my experience, start sharing my family story a little bit more, maybe I can help somebody out. Because I know from my experiences, I learned from other people too. I'll go sit down with an OG in a minute and try to pick his brain. And shoot, any knowledge I learned, shoot, it's your knowledge too. So that's what it's about for me, man. I just want to be a resource for the people.
Facts. I'm on the same sheet of music, brother. That's what I'm doing here now.
Yeah, we got to link that up, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, appreciate everything. Another winner in the building. Hey, Jay, I salute you, bro. Keep kicking it.
Appreciate you, my guy. Love you, dog.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.